Welcome to another TerranScapes video. This video is a work in project check with a customer for a custom board set to represent a conflict in World War II. In any case, the conflict is to be played out on a board set that is going to be 6 feet across. Each of these boards is 2 by 2 and is going to be 18 feet long. So this is the first roughly third of the boards that will be produced for this board set. The customer requested that I follow a very detailed map that outlines very specific locations, buildings, farms, roadways, foxholes, and other features, including later a railroad which will come off, a hill in the center of the board set which has a railroad crossing, a bricked layer for an industrial area down past, including a riverway where a bridge will be placed, etc. So at this stage, after we've done some extensive work in terms of communication and planning the project, this is the first set of boards completed to a pre-flocking stage, and I wanted to review a few features of them to ensure that this is meeting the standards that are requested, as well as get a chance to ask a few questions of my own. So first, just to highlight what's been done that you see here, these are embossed plastic sheeting cobblestone. They're 3 inches wide. The road incorporates, as you can see, several feet. I did a map of the road pieces required, and there'll be over 30 linear feet of road when this board is done, because the road follows both sides of the map and has several cross sections, which you see a couple here, and these double roads follow all the way down the length of the board. The pieces, I've tried to join them with as tight a seam as possible, but you are going to see a little bit of seaming between them, which I think is unavoidable. And looking at some of the other work that he was showing as a reference to use as a guide for the quality of production, I see some seams in the road work that they've done as well. The boards have been finished with a sand finish with a soil covering. This is going to get a green flocking, which is a custom mix that matches the customer's mix that he's used on his individual figures. But I wanted to add some features that were not originally planned for in the map, one of which is that there's going to be a farm that's going to be placed here, comprised of a couple buildings. So I wanted to add some furrowed fields, and let's see if you can pick that up. There you go. Some furrowed fields alongside the farm to add that farm imagery. Now this scale is this is HO scale. This is what the game system that's going to be played on. That's 20 millimeter scale, so just slightly under the traditional 28 millimeter GW and slightly higher than the 15 millimeter Flames of War. So I think this scale is going to work fairly well. I'm going to give you an idea. Here's my finger for scale. And what I'm going to do, taking a look at this, it captures the farm feel a little bit, but I think it needs just a little something more. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry brush glue over the surface of this, which will pick up these individual rows, and then lightly dust it with some kind of a crop-colored static grass, maybe something that gives it maybe like a germinating wheat feel. Something that's just coming up, but it's stubble, or perhaps something that's been cropped to the ground, but it'll still preserve the dark furrows in between, and I think it will mask some of the irregularities in the surface and really give it a little bit more of a true farm feel. Originally I was going to leave it as bare soil, but I think in the end a little color would help it. So the board's going to get flocked, and so major areas that you see now, of course, will be covered. But one of the questions that I had for the customer was that there are locations where buildings are going to be placed. So here, let's see if I can lift up a little bit. I've left the cutout for the buildings. There's like 3 farm buildings that go within this spot here. And I'm planning on flocking over these spots. Mainly that if I try to leave them bare soil, I'm going to be trying to hit, precise measurements with a not precise, application technique, and the exact fit may not quite match up. So I think it'd be better if this was flocked to match the board, but maybe a little bit lighter so it doesn't cause the bases to rise up. And that way, that when the bases of the buildings are placed, if they're slightly off measurement per se. It's not going to show like some weird gap here, but then overlap, you know, the flocking on this side, etc. So that way, you know, if you want to angle them slightly to match the roads a little bit or whatever, you've got that freedom without having to worry about matching some preformed edge work that I've laid out for each of the buildings. Another instance is, in case in point, is that these foxholes here basically border a building that's going to be placed here. This is going to be a hotel, and so these foxholes, you know, mark that outline, but there won't be a clear delineation on the board if I flock it. So there is a map that accompanies this board set, and the map will be provided, sent back with the boards so that the customer can use that as a guide for where to place the buildings. So I just wanted to double check that that plan was okay. Give you an overall sense of the quality of the boards. What I had to do is I had to go back in. Sometimes when they do cut the foam, I found actually that sometimes the foam isn't true square, true 90 degrees. So when I cut it, it actually forms a bit of a trapezoid. It's kind of like a little twist. So I've gone in and sanded some edges, and I've spackled them and basically cleaned them up and built up some of the corners and trimmed some of the others so that you can get a true 90-degree fit. And then what I'll do is I'll go back in and I heat the back of the boards and I bend them so that they will port down rather than have edges that start to lift up a little bit. And then I'll provide some shims, and the shims can be glued under individual corners as needed to help them so that they sit flush on the table when you get it, because the thickness of the boards actually does vary based on their manufacturing by as much as about 1/8 of an inch. And this floor surface is in my basement, and this is not a even surface to start with, so that's also producing some of the corner pop-ups that you see. And also, just to give other viewers a quick idea of what kind of prep work has been done, this, because of the size of this and the specificity, if I can, there we go, use that word, the specificity of the location of individual components, for this project, a true to-scale map was produced. And the map is 1-inch square graph paper, which outlines the location. Here you can see, let me see if I can get my pointer. Here are the foxholes. Here are the foxholes on the map coming down. This marks the edge of another board set, which will hold the location of this building, the Hartenstein Hotel, which is a 1-foot square building footprint. Another small building, for instance, is outlined here, and a little bit harder for you to see, probably because of the camera quality and the lighting, is the outline of the roads, which are all laid out. So just to give you a little idea of, for a large project that's remote, how we can do a scale map to help you help me to match your project to be the exact dimensions required. Anyway, hope this video is helpful, and keep an eye out for future videos as this progress continues on this project, as this is the major project that I'll be working on for the next several weeks.